Okay, good morning. This is Saturday, November 12th, and it's about 12 noon Pacific Standard Time. And I'm going to do a market recap here, what happened the last week or so. So a lot has happened during this past week where we had this big rise here, and that was a CPI report. Okay, so what's the ramifications of this CPI report taking this market all the way up? And I said many times that I trade these balance areas, and if it starts going up, I wait for the second bar. And there's always exceptions, so I'm not going to trade up on the second bar, even though this is a big balance area. And I had mentioned before, the larger the balance area, when it finally breaks out, it's going to go that way in a big way. In this case, that doesn't apply, and I'll tell you why. This was news-driven, the CPI report. The report came out saying that inflation is actually down for this month. It comes out every month, the CPI report. So here's a picture of a chart here. And as you can see, this thing moves up and down too. And it goes up and it comes down. So while this report came out and said that inflation's down, as inflation moves up, it's not going to move up in a straight line. It's going to come down, it's going to go up, come down. So when this report came out, it was, let's say the inflation was going up, and this is the CPI chart. It could have dipped down, and here the market report came out, and of course it's going to show less than it was here, let's say a month ago. And that's what happened here, and people thought, okay, inflation's down, but then it will continue to go up. So inflation definitely is not down. If anything, it's higher than it was last month. I mean, I go shopping and I just see the prices just going up every month, and the price of gas. So obviously, this is not real here. This is either market driven, or the people controlling these markets, they just brought this up. And same thing with this. There's nothing real about this other than they're trying to get more people involved in this market. And again, I'm not saying there's anything sinister going on. This is just the way it works. They want to get people buying and buying so they can turn it back around, and then those people will sell. So right now people are buying according to that. I mean, the ES went up 200 and something points. That's crazy. It never does that. Last time it did that was in 2020, right before the pandemic, and then it just shot straight up because it came straight down, and so it had that move. So there's no reason this should have happened, other than I believe it was intentional, just to get people in there. Again, that's a business strategy that they do. We'll call that business. It's not a conspiracy, it's business. So what's going to happen next week? Market could come up here and bounce off. I'm not sure how far they're going to drive this. But just for fun, I got, show here. So here's a 2008 chart. And the market was going down just like it did. And it came up once, it came up twice, and it came up 3 times. And it made this turn, came up, and then it went down. This was the big crash right here. And that's where we're at now. Market came up once, twice. That could be the second time, twice, 3 times. This is probably the 3rd time. And it came around and came up, and then it crashed. And that's what 2008 did. Not saying this is going to do exactly that, but I'm pretty sure it's going to kind of follow along the same lines, and then it goes down. So I made this chart just, let's see, where is it? I made this chart just for fun, right here. And we're actually right here. And so I made this kind of just for fun, just to see how this market can actually play out. And eventually this will happen. And it's going to go past the 2020, start a pandemic. You can see how the market just shot up like that. And that was the same that it did over here. You know, it had another one here. It just kept going. And so that's how it played out. So I'm you know, again, this is for fun, because I know eventually this will happen, but I don't know when. I don't know if the market's going to come up a little bit more before that happens, but this is what we're looking forward to. Now, I could start this coming week, you know, they could drive it out a little bit longer. I don't see how they can, but they might do that. There's a lot of people out there talking about the Santa Claus rally happening in December, so they're thinking this isn't going to happen until next year. So that wasn't the case in 2008. Market came down around September, October, November, December. No Santa Claus rally here. You know, it just took a big dump and didn't start coming back up until March. So, yeah, no Santa Claus rally there. So why would we have a Santa Claus rally here? It's not consistent. Doesn't mean it's going to happen every year, no matter where the market's at. No, you got to know where the market's at now. This line here says it's a bear market, and it's going to be a bear market until it comes back up, at least above this line, up in here. But if it does come up in this area, it's got to come up with some strength, not with this news-driven strength. You can call it strength because there's a lot of people behind it as it started going up, but it's news-driven. So it's going to start coming down. And my guess is, you know, it could start happening this fast. I mean, it comes down here, made this little turn up like that, like it did in 2008, and then it came down. So 2008, made this little turn, came up, and came down. It could happen that way. Eventually this will happen, and I believe it's going to happen this year. We don't have much time left. However, there's a good opportunity to sell the market, buy a lot of puts, and there's going to be a lot of millionaires here. But those millionaires are going to be within that 2% range, and you're still going to have 90% of people losing money, about 8% of the people selling out, maybe breaking even, and some making a little bit of money. But you got that 2%, they're going to make a lot of money coming down. So there's good opportunity for that to happen. So I'm thinking this week it's a possibility it could start heading down. And if it does into this area, I'll start buying even more puts. And then we can see where it goes from there, and then down here, and eventually down there. So the market needs to correct. Some people are thinking, oh, we're going to hit another bull market. They don't understand that these are cycles. We can't fight the cycles. That would be like saying we want the sun to shine 24 hours a day here in California, and you can't do that. You know, it's got to, the Earth has to rotate. If the Earth stops rotating, then what do you think happens to all life on Earth? Well, it crashes. Same thing here. You eventually have to have it come down, wash all this out, and start all over again. This is a normal process. So people that are thinking this is going to keep going up, they're not understanding that. You know, they're not paying attention. because all they're doing is they're focusing on this little spot right here, and they're thinking that the market's going to continue up because they don't remember what happened here. They don't remember that they already lost. They're already down maybe 20, 30, 40, 50% of their profits, because this little move right here, they're very hopeful, and all that's a wash. And this is the way these markets work. I remember when gasoline prices were 40 cents and it went up to 60 cents. Everybody freaked out. Then it went down to 50 cents and everybody was okay. Then it went up to 70%, people freaked out. Then it went down to 60 cents and people were okay. Well, how come they're okay now at 60%, at 60 cents, and not before? That's because they train people to do this. They train people to just look at what's happening right now and not what happened here, or not look at how much they've lost so far. And it's pretty amazing how this psychology works, and it definitely works. Another example is they had somebody was talking about just an analogy that these people were going down a river in a raft, and they're paying attention to steering the raft away from all the rocks and boulders on the side, and they're so focused on that they weren't looking ahead to see the mist, which meant there's a waterfall. And because they're so focused on just this point here, they didn't see the waterfall. Once they got close to the waterfall, it's too late. And then, of course, they went down the waterfall and they crashed down into the rocks below. And that's what this is all about. This is the waterfall. And these are people here, and they're paying attention to what's happening in each one of these lines, and not paying attention to their portfolio, which says I'm down 50%, 20%. And then we get another one of these and people get excited. And the same thing's going to happen on the way down. This is going to start heading down, and then you get this big rise up here, and everybody's going to get excited, and they're going to stay with the market again. Then it's going to go down, they're going to feel sad. Then it's going to come back up, and they're going to feel good again. It's going to happen all the way down. I saw this in 2008, and I saw it in 2000. It's same thing. History repeats itself. Not exactly, because these lines are different, and the timing could be different too. But yeah, I'm just thinking that it's going to happen soon, where it's going to start dropping, and that could happen as early as this week coming up. So again, we're in a bear market. The market is acting like it's in a bear market, even though it did that. And if you're trading, I would be very careful with long positions going up, because this thing can turn around any minute and just take off down. Like I said, they could work it up in this area and let it hang out for another couple weeks. I'm not sure what their plan is, but wouldn't be surprised if it started coming down this coming week. So I'm not betting on any of that. Like I said, I have my positions in this box here. Once it starts coming back down into this box, I'm going to buy. If this market takes off and goes above here, well then, story changes. But I highly doubt that. And like I said, we need to have a recession. We need to have these markets correct, because that's part of the cycle. It's a natural cycle. So how long they can keep this up, I'm not sure. But again, my best guess is that it's going to start coming down pretty soon. So that's a market recap for this week. Again, not a lot of change as far as still in a bear market, and that's how I see it, and a potential crash happening real soon. And be careful with anything going long. I would be careful. I'm not going to buy anything from this point on, and I'm going to be waiting for it to come down here. See, there's another market I've invested in, and that's Going to the futures part. So that's Bitcoin. So Bitcoin did break, and it stayed down, and even though the market came up, still underneath this box, and I bought more. I bought twice so far, and if it comes down and it breaks this line down here, I'm going to buy some more going down. These are put options, and so far these put options are doing really well. Not so much on the ES, because of course the market went up here and I had purchased in here, and so I'm in a negative, but these put options are good until December 22nd, and high probability that this is going to be way down here in December 22nd. So that's it. That's the market recap. I'll go more into the psychology of this market. If you keep watching my videos, I'll keep talking about it throughout, because that's 95% of this market. That's how they get people involved, and they want people to buy and hold. And then when the market starts going, those people start to sell, but they always sell at a loss. And even if they held their position, they're still at a loss. And I'll explain that some other time, because the money that you own here is not real, it's digital. So if you want something that's tangible, then you would buy real estate, or you would buy gold, something that's tangible. And we can talk about that later, about where to put your money. And of course you get tax breaks. That's why millionaires don't pay taxes, because they're always in debt. They take their money and they put it into investments like gold or precious metals, even diamonds. You know, that stuff's tangible. And the government sees that and they said, okay, you haven't made any money, because they invest it. And they're constantly in debt. You don't see these people with millions of dollars sitting in the bank. It doesn't make sense. You know, so otherwise they have to pay taxes on that. So they invest it, always invested. And so we'll talk about that too, because I know quite a bit about that, and how to save on taxes and invest in, like I said, real estate and precious metals. Okay, that should do it for this week, and I'll do another update, weekly update next week, and we'll talk some more.